Johnny Depp just dropped the most explosive statements about Hollywood that nobody saw coming. The man who once ruled box offices worldwide has finally broken his silence about what really happens behind the glittering facade of Tinseltown, and his revelations are sending shockwaves through the entertainment industry. At a recent press conference, Depp delivered a statement that left everyone stunned. "I don't have much use for Hollywood." But this wasn't just another celebrity rant. This was a calculated declaration of war against the very system that made him famous. The actor's words carried the weight of someone who had seen too much, experienced too much, and finally decided that silence was no longer an option. The timing couldn't be more significant. Just as Depp begins his tentative return to major filmmaking with projects like Day Drinker, he's simultaneously pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's most guarded secrets. His recent interviews reveal a man who's done playing by the industry's rules, someone who's ready to expose the machinery that nearly destroyed him. But what makes these revelations truly terrifying is what Depp isn't saying outright. Between the lines of his carefully chosen words lies a threat that has studio executives and A-list celebrities losing sleep. He's hinting at knowledge that could bring down some of the most powerful figures in entertainment, and the industry knows it. The most chilling aspect of Depp's recent statements involves his claims about betrayal from within Hollywood's inner circle. During his legal battles with Amber Heard, when the entire industry seemed to turn against him overnight, Depp discovered something that changed everything. He learned exactly who his real friends were and, more importantly, who had been working against him all along. "Some of the people who distanced themselves from me knew the truth from day one," Depp revealed in a recent interview. This statement alone has sent ripples of panic through Hollywood's elite circles. The implication is clear: there are major celebrities who publicly abandoned Depp while privately knowing he was innocent of the accusations that nearly destroyed his career. Think about the implications here. We're talking about A-list actors, directors, and producers who made public statements distancing themselves from Depp, knowing full well that the allegations against him were false. These weren't just business decisions or careful PR moves. According to Depp, these were calculated betrayals by people who had insider knowledge of the truth but chose to sacrifice him anyway. The conspiracy goes deeper than simple cowardice or self-preservation. Industry insiders are now questioning whether there was an orchestrated effort to remove Depp from his position as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. His fall from grace was swift and brutal, almost too coordinated to be organic. Within weeks of the initial allegations, he was dropped from multiple major projects, including the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that had made him hundreds of millions. What's particularly disturbing is how quickly the industry moved to erase him. Studios that had been begging for his involvement suddenly couldn't distance themselves fast enough. Contracts were terminated, projects were shelved, and future opportunities evaporated overnight. The speed and coordination of this response suggests something far more sinister than simple business prudence. Depp's comparison of his situation to other Hollywood casualties isn't accidental. "It's like OJ or something," he said, referencing how certain scandals become permanently attached to celebrities regardless of legal outcomes. But unlike other fallen stars, Depp won his defamation case and proved his innocence in court. Yet the industry's response has been lukewarm at best. The actor's revelation about media mathematics provides another piece of the puzzle. He's suggesting that algorithms and media manipulation were used to amplify negative coverage while suppressing positive stories. This points to a level of sophisticated character assassination that goes beyond simple tabloid gossip. But here's where it gets truly frightening for Hollywood's power brokers. Depp isn't just talking about his own experience anymore. He's hinting at a broader pattern of corruption and manipulation that affects the entire industry. His knowledge of how the system really works, combined with his willingness to speak out, makes him incredibly dangerous to those who prefer to operate in shadows. The Amber Heard trial exposed more than just the toxic dynamics of a failed marriage. It pulled back the curtain on Hollywood's power structures in ways that made industry insiders extremely uncomfortable. What the public saw as a messy celebrity divorce was actually a window into how the entertainment industry protects certain narratives while destroying others. During the trial, damning evidence emerged about how quickly Hollywood's elite had rushed to judgment. Major studios, A-list actors, and industry publications had all taken sides before any evidence was presented. The presumption of guilt was so immediate and widespread that it revealed a coordinated response that went far beyond normal business caution. But what really shook the industry was how the trial exposed the manipulation of public opinion. Depp's legal team presented evidence of orchestrated campaigns designed to destroy his reputation. This wasn't just about one angry ex-wife making accusations. This was about a systematic effort to remove one of Hollywood's biggest stars from the playing field. The most explosive revelation came from witness testimony suggesting that certain industry figures had advanced knowledge of the allegations against Depp. These weren't random accusations that caught everyone off guard. Key players in Hollywood knew what was coming and had already prepared their response. The speed at which major studios dropped him makes perfect sense when viewed through this lens. Even more disturbing are the allegations about witness manipulation and information suppression. The trial revealed attempts to coerce testimony and cover up evidence that would have been favorable to Depp. These weren't the actions of a single vindictive ex-spouse. This was the work of professionals who specialize in managing crises and controlling narratives. Enter the world of Hollywood fixers, those shadowy figures who operate behind the scenes to protect the industry's most valuable assets. Paul Barisi and Adam Waldman, names that emerged during various legal proceedings, represent just the tip of the iceberg. These are the people who make problems disappear and create problems for those who threaten the established order. The Viper Room lawsuit, which involves Depp's former business interests, has revealed even more about how these fixers operate. Allegations have emerged about coercive tactics used to manipulate witnesses and suppress damaging information. The case shows how Hollywood's crisis management apparatus can be weaponized against those who fall out of favor. What's particularly chilling is how these fixers operate across multiple cases and clients. They're not just working for individual celebrities or studios. They're part of a broader network that protects the industry's interests above all else. When someone like Depp becomes a liability, these professionals swing into action with devastating efficiency. The sophistication of these operations is staggering. We're talking about coordinated media campaigns, legal maneuvering, witness intimidation, and financial warfare, all orchestrated by people who understand exactly how to destroy someone's reputation and career. It's not enough to just avoid hiring someone. They have to be completely eliminated as a threat to the system. But here's what really has Hollywood terrified. Depp survived their best efforts to destroy him. Despite everything they threw at him, he won his defamation case and proved his innocence. More importantly, he documented their methods and learned their secrets. Now he's back, and he's not playing by their rules anymore. The industry's response to his legal victory has been revealing. Instead of welcoming him back with open arms, there's been a strange reluctance to fully embrace his return. Major studios are still hesitant to work with him, despite his proven box office appeal and legal vindication. This suggests that the original campaign against him was never really about the allegations in the first place. Depp's recent comments about being boycotted by Hollywood confirm what many suspected. The industry's treatment of him wasn't based on legal facts or business considerations. It was a deliberate effort to remove him from the game entirely. Even after winning his case, he's still being punished for refusing to go quietly. The actor's decision to work primarily outside the traditional Hollywood system isn't just about artistic freedom. It's about survival. He's learned that the industry's power structure is designed to eliminate threats, not accommodate them. By building his career through independent films and international projects, he's creating a firewall against future attacks. But the most terrifying aspect of this whole situation is what it reveals about Hollywood's capacity for destroying lives. If they can do this to someone as powerful and wealthy as Johnny Depp, what chance do ordinary people have? The financial warfare against Johnny Depp wasn't just about dropping him from future projects. It was a systematic effort to destroy his earning potential and bankrupt him through legal fees and lost opportunities. The speed and coordination of this economic assault reveals a level of industry cooperation that goes far beyond normal business practices. Within months of the initial allegations, Depp lost his role in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, a series that had earned Disney billions of dollars. He was also forced to exit the Fantastic Beasts franchise, despite having already filmed scenes for the third installment. But these weren't isolated business decisions. They were part of a coordinated campaign to eliminate his income sources entirely. The numbers are staggering. Industry experts estimate that Depp lost over $600 million in potential earnings from projects that were canceled or roles he was dropped from. This wasn't just about avoiding bad publicity. This was about ensuring he couldn't fight back by destroying his financial resources. But the most insidious aspect of this financial warfare was how it was disguised as prudent business practice. Studio executives claimed they were simply protecting their investments by distancing themselves from controversial figures. The reality was far more calculated. They were using their collective power to crush someone who had become inconvenient. Depp's recent comments about studio heads being glorified accountants who are disposable and they realize it reveal his understanding of how this system works. These aren't creative visionaries making artistic decisions. They're financial managers implementing directives from higher up the corporate food chain. The psychological warfare was equally devastating. Depp describes the past few years as surreal and compares his experience to being trapped in a vast wilderness. This wasn't just about losing jobs. It was about being systematically isolated from the industry and community that had been his life for decades. The industry's use of media mathematics to manipulate public opinion represents another form of psychological warfare. Algorithms were allegedly used to amplify negative coverage while suppressing positive stories. This created an echo chamber of negativity that made Depp's situation seem far worse than it actually was. But perhaps the most cruel aspect of this psychological campaign was how it turned his own colleagues against him. People who had worked with him for years suddenly refused to associate with him publicly. The isolation was complete and devastating, designed to break him mentally as well as financially. The industry's treatment of other controversial figures provides context for understanding what happened to Depp. When compared to how Hollywood has handled other scandals, the response to Depp's situation was unusually swift and severe. This suggests that his case was seen as particularly threatening to the established order. What made Depp so dangerous wasn't just his star power or financial success. It was his independence and his knowledge of how the system really works. He had been in the industry long enough to understand its secrets and had enough resources to potentially expose them. This made him a unique threat that required special handling. The industry's reluctance to fully embrace his return, even after his legal victory, reveals the true nature of their concerns. This was never really about the allegations against him. It was about maintaining control over someone who had become too powerful and too independent for their comfort. Depp's decision to work primarily through independent films and international projects represents a strategic withdrawal from the traditional Hollywood power structure. He's building a career that can't be easily controlled or destroyed by studio executives and their fixers. This independence is what really terrifies the industry establishment. His recent projects, including Jean du Barry and Day Drinker, show that he doesn't need Hollywood's approval to continue his career. He's created alternative pathways that bypass the traditional gatekeepers entirely. This success, despite their best efforts to destroy him, proves that their power isn't absolute. But the most significant aspect of Depp's survival is what it means for other potential victims of Hollywood's machinery. His success in fighting back and rebuilding his career provides a blueprint for others who might face similar attacks. He's proven that the industry's power to destroy careers isn't unlimited. The implications of this extend far beyond Johnny Depp's personal situation. If one of Hollywood's biggest stars can be systematically targeted and nearly destroyed, what does that say about the industry's treatment of less powerful individuals? How many careers have been ended by similar campaigns that never made it to public attention? The resistance to Johnny Depp's comeback reveals something deeply unsettling about Hollywood's power structure. Despite winning his defamation case and proving his innocence, major studios remain hesitant to fully embrace his return. This reluctance isn't based on business considerations or public sentiment. It's about maintaining control over someone who has become too dangerous to the established order. Depp's upcoming role in Day Drinker marks his first major Hollywood studio project in years, but even this represents a carefully calculated risk rather than a full embrace. The project's development has been shrouded in unusual secrecy, with marketing efforts deliberately downplayed. This suggests that even supportive studios are afraid of drawing too much attention to their association with him. The industry's strategy appears to be allowing Depp a controlled return while ensuring he never regains his former level of power and influence. By limiting his opportunities and maintaining distance, they're trying to prevent him from becoming a threat again. But this approach has backfired spectacularly, only drawing more attention to their coordinated efforts to marginalize him. What's particularly revealing is how different entertainment media outlets have covered his return. While some celebrate his comeback, others continue to rehash old controversies and question his worthiness for forgiveness. This split reveals the ongoing battle for control over his narrative and public perception. The international response to Depp's return has been markedly different from Hollywood's cautious approach. European film festivals have welcomed him with open arms, and international audiences have shown overwhelming support for his projects. This global embrace highlights how isolated and insular Hollywood's response has been. But the most significant aspect of Depp's comeback strategy is how he's using it to expose the industry's hypocrisy. By contrasting his treatment with how other controversial figures have been handled, he's highlighting the inconsistencies and double standards that govern Hollywood's moral judgments. His cryptic warnings about what else he knows represent the nuclear option in his ongoing conflict with the industry. Depp has hinted at possessing information that could damage other major figures in Hollywood, and his willingness to speak out has made him incredibly dangerous to those who prefer to operate in shadows. The implications of his knowledge extend far beyond his personal situation. If he's willing to expose the systematic campaign against him, what else might he reveal about Hollywood's hidden power structures? His recent comments suggest that his own experience was just one example of how the industry eliminates threats to its control. The entertainment establishment's nervous response to his return suggests they're genuinely worried about what he might say next. Every interview and public appearance is scrutinized for hints about potential revelations. This paranoia reveals just how much they have to hide. Depp's transformation from victim to potential whistleblower represents a fundamental shift in the power dynamic. He's no longer just someone trying to rebuild his career. He's become someone who could potentially bring down the entire system that tried to destroy him. This evolution has made him far more dangerous than he ever was as just a movie star. The broader implications of his situation extend to every person working in Hollywood. If the industry's most powerful figures can coordinate such a comprehensive campaign against one of their biggest stars, what protection do ordinary workers have? The machinery that nearly destroyed Depp could be turned against anyone who threatens the established order. His survival and gradual return serve as both inspiration and warning. While he's proven that the industry's power isn't absolute, he's also demonstrated the devastating cost of challenging their authority. The years of isolation, financial warfare, and character assassination have taken their toll, even on someone with his resources and determination. The ultimate question is whether Depp's exposure of Hollywood's dark side will lead to meaningful change or simply more sophisticated methods of control. His revelations have certainly made the industry more aware of their vulnerability to exposure, but whether this translates to reform remains to be seen. What's certain is that Johnny Depp has fundamentally altered the conversation about power and accountability in Hollywood. His willingness to speak out about the industry's methods has given others permission to question the system that controls their livelihoods. This shift in consciousness may be his most important contribution to the entertainment industry. The story of Johnny Depp's fall and rise isn't just about one man's journey through Hollywood's machinery of destruction. It's about the broader question of who really controls the entertainment industry and how far they're willing to go to maintain that control. His experience has exposed the dark reality behind the glittering facade, and Hollywood will never be quite the same.